Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. In this channel today we are going to be learning how to draft a pants trouser, how to fix an inner pocket, and how to fix a zipper fly very well. Okay, so stay tuned to the end of this tutorial. I'll be using this fabric to make the pants. Okay, so I have 3 yards of fabric with me here. Then I will not be using all though. Then I have my pattern paper. So the first thing is to go ahead and draft on my pattern paper. Okay, in drafting trouser, the first thing I usually do is to mark out what I call a guideline. Okay, so for you to get your guideline, you're going to do your hip divided by 4 plus 4 inches. So when I did mine with what I'm working with, I had 14.75. I'm working with 43. So that 14.75, I went ahead and rounded it up to 15. So I'm going to go ahead and mark out my 15, placing my tape as at the edge of the pattern paper. So that 15 will serve as my working space and my guideline. Okay, I will go ahead and take my time and mark for 15 inches from the top to the down, and then go ahead and rule it using my ruler into a straight vertical line. Okay, so go ahead and make sure that yours is very straight. You connect into a straight vertical line. So with that, you've gotten your workspace. Okay, and that line there will serve as a guide. Now to begin, what I'm going to do is to also go ahead at the top of my pattern paper. I'm going to rule out a starting line also. Okay, that's my starting line where I'm going to be placing my tape for all measurements. The trouser is going to be having a band of 1.5 inches, hence I'm going to be placing my tape at -1.5 to take all necessary measurements. Okay, so placing my tape at -1.5, I'll go down and mark my hip measurement, which is 8 inches. Okay, so whatever your hip is plus 2 inches will give you a tie line. So I went ahead and marked 10, still leaving my tape at -1.5. Okay, so now the next thing I'm going to do is to mark my nail line. I have my nail line to be 20, so I went ahead and marked my 20. So I'll extend my tape to the other side to mark the same thing that I've marked. That's, I'll mark my 8, I'll mark my 10 for my tie line, and I'll also mark my 20 for my nail line. Okay, now after doing that, the next thing is to come in with your ruler and square it up. Okay, you connect it into a horizontal line like I'm doing in the video. Okay, still leaving my tape at -1.5, I'll go ahead and take my full length. Okay, I discovered that what I had was not enough to give me the desired full length. So what I did was to cut the extra paper after my guideline and attached it at the end of the paper with a masking tape. Okay, now what I have, this is my hip line, that's my thigh line, and that's over there is my nail line. Okay, I labeled my lines. Okay, having done that, what I'm going to do now is to go ahead and mark my full length. I'm working with 43, both the folding allowance and everything. Okay, the length I have I'm working with is 41, so I added 2 inches for the folding allowance. So I'll go ahead and make a mark and then connect it into a horizontal line like I did to others. Then I'll label it my desired length. Okay, so to work on the upper part, what I went ahead to do was, you're going to measure your hip divided by 4 plus 1 inch allowance. Okay, so my hip, the hip I'm working with is 43 divided by 4 plus 1 inch. Okay, so I'll go ahead and do that and know what I have. So after doing that, I had 11.75, so I'll go ahead and mark 11.75 at the hip line. I'll mark it at the thigh line. I'll also go ahead at that starting line that I marked, which is my waistline. I'll also go ahead and mark my 11.75 there. Then coming in with my ruler, I'm going to connect it into a vertical line like so. At this point, I discovered that I'm here to mark my crouch line. So what I went ahead to do was to still leave my tape at 1.5. I went ahead and marked my crouch line. So the crouch I'm working with measures 11.5, so I'll go ahead, I'll leave my tape at 1.5 and mark my 11.5. Okay, so after marking the 11.5 for my crouch line, I'll rule it, coming with my ruler and rule it into a horizontal line like I've been doing in the past. So after ruling it into a horizontal line, I'll go ahead and place my ruler on the marked horizontal line and also mark my 11.75 like I did on lines above it. Okay, so after marking that, I'll go ahead and extend the vertical line down to meet the crouch line like so. Now after that, the next thing is I'll go ahead and label it like I did upward. I'll label it as my crouch line for easy identification. Now at that crouch line, whatever you have, you remember what we have there is 11.75, sorry. So that 11.75, what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide it by 4. Okay, whatever you have, when I did my, I had 2.9 3, I went ahead and rounded it. I approximated it to 3 inches. So that's how I'm going to be extending my crouch. I'll extend my crouch by 3 inches. Now go ahead and bisect like I'm doing in the video. Okay, place your ruler and bisect it. Now on that line that you have now, what you're going to do is you're going to mark half of your crouch extension. Remember, I extended mine by 3 inches, so half of that is going to give me 1.5. So I'll place my tape like I'm doing in the video and mark my 1.5. Now what you're going to do is to connect from your hip to meet that line. Okay, like I'm doing. If you follow your calculations properly, everything is supposed to align very well. So from my hip, I'll mark to that line. Then from that line, I'll mark to the crouch extension of 3 inches, like so. Can you see? So that was my crouch. Okay, I've gone ahead to curve it into a perfect curve. Okay, so that's what I have. So now the next thing now is to work on the waistline. Okay, so what I'm going to do is my waistline, my half length divided by 4 plus 1 inch seam allowance. Okay, so I did mine. My half length was 35 divided gave me 85 plus 1 inch, that's 95. So I went ahead and marked it and connected it to the hip like I'm doing in the video, like so. Okay, so after doing that, you now come down to your crouch line. Okay, come down at your crouch line and measure from your guideline to where I'm touching now. Okay, when I measured mine, I got 14.75, very close to 15. So what I will go ahead and do is to fold my tape into 2. Okay, holding that marked place. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and fold my tape into 2. Now folding my tape into 2, I'm going to get the center of the marked line on my tape. Okay, after getting it, I'll go ahead and mark it on my crouch line. Okay, following my tape, I can see the mark I've made on my tape. You can see it. So I'll go ahead and mark it, dividing the crouch line into 2. That will divide your crouch into 2 perfect line. So I'll also come down to the new line and also mark whatever I have there. Okay, following what I have on my tape. I also go down to the desired length. Okay, you can see the joining that I have there. Also go down to the desired length and make that mark there. Okay, so I'm going to now go ahead and use my ruler and rule it into a straight vertical line to divide the pant into 2. Now the essence of dividing your pant into 2 is for you to have an equal pant. Okay, so for the leg to be straight. So what I'm going to do is to come down to the nail and work on it. So what I'm working with, my client's nail measurement measures 16 inches. So I'll go ahead and divide the 16 inches into 2 to get 8 inches. So I'm supposed to share the 8 inches on the both side, but since it's a palazzo pant, I'm not going to be sharing the 8 inch. I'm not going to be sharing 8 inches. Rather, what I'm going to do is to go ahead and divide that 8 inches into 2 to get 4. So whatever I have there, I'm going to add extra 2 inches because it's a palazzo pant. So I'll go ahead and mark 6 inches on the left hand side and also extend my tape to the right hand side and mark my 6 inches. Okay, you can mark more depending on how wide you want the palazzo to be. So I'll also go down and mark my 6 inches at the hemline and also mark 6 inches. Okay, the moderate size to mark for a moderate palazzo is whatever your nail is, divide by 2 and add 2 inches on both sides. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and connect. So you can see what I'm pointing at the picture. From the crouch line, I'll connect the 6 inches at the left hand side. Okay, like so, and mark. Okay, after marking that, I'll also extend my tape. Okay, I'll come in with my ruler to the other side, to the right hand side, and mark from that marked line that you are seeing there. I'll connect the 6 inches on the right hand, like so. Okay, so having done that, now I'm going to extend this 6 inches downward to meet the marked 6 inches at the hemline. Okay, so I'll go ahead and place my ruler. So I noticed that my ruler was not long enough to connect it and I wanted it to be perfect, so I went ahead and extended it and marked another 6 inches just to make my ruler to be able to get it. So I'll now go ahead and place my ruler and connect it down. Okay, so with this, I think we are done drafting the front part of this trouser. Okay, so just go ahead and finish up, bring down the lines. Okay, and finish up. So the next thing I'm going to do is to come in with my scissors and go ahead and cut everything. Okay, so follow the videos to see the lines I'm cutting out. Okay, so that you not make mistake. Okay, so after cutting the lines, I'll go ahead and cut the main line. Okay, this is the main line that I'm cutting out now. Okay, after doing that on the left hand side, I'll also go over to the right hand side and cut. Okay, so while cutting the crouch area, please pay careful attention so that you will not cut the wrong line. Okay, so I went ahead and finished cutting. Then I'll cut out the excess I have at the starting line, like so that I'm doing in the video. So with that, we have come to the end of drafting the front pattern. So the next thing you have to do is to go ahead and place this on your fabric and cut out 2 pieces of this. Okay, so what I ended up cutting out is 2 pieces of this front part. Okay, as you can see in the video that I'm demonstrating now. Okay, the next thing I went ahead and did was to separate the pattern from the fabric. Okay, because I need the pattern for the back pattern. So placing my pattern on a folded piece of material, okay, to cut out my back pattern. So the thing you should ensure is that you have enough space at the crouch line, like I'm pointing. Okay, you should have at least 4 inches at the crouch line, and also at this top you should have at least 3 inches, okay, like I showed you in the video. So what you go ahead and do is you're going to extend the starting line like I'm doing in the video, okay, on the fabric. So having extended it, the next thing you're going to do is to come in with your ruler at the crouch line. You're going to extend it by 3 inches. Okay, so go ahead and extend by 3 inches. If you're a smaller person, go ahead and extend yours by 2 inches or 2.5. Okay, so the hip I'm working with is 43, so I'm going to go ahead and extend it by 3 inches at the crouch line. Now coming to the thigh hip line, okay, not the thigh line, I'm going to subtract half inches from the 3 inches I marked at the crouch line. Hence I'm going to mark 2.5 there, 2.5 there. Then very close to the starting line, you're going to mark 2 inches like I'm doing in the video. So you go ahead and connect. Once you take this measurement, you're going to see that everything will align. Okay, so if you worked with 2.5, you go ahead and minus half from the hip, mark 2 at the hip, and mark then 1.5 at the starting line. Just go ahead and reduce half inches like I did all the way up. Okay, and mark. Now having done that, everything is going to align once you follow this measurement and subtraction that I did. Okay, so you go ahead and come in with your free hand and go ahead and curve everything out beautifully like I'm doing in the video. Okay, everything is going to align once you follow the measurement I gave you. Now everything will align as you are curving it out. You see the perfect curve. Okay, like so. You can see how everything aligned in my own. Okay, so the next thing is to work on the upper part. Okay, at this line, the starting line, you're going to extend it upward by 2 inches. Okay, so if you're a smaller person, you're going to go ahead and extend yours by 1.5. Okay, so I'll extend this by 2 inches. After extending it by 2 inches, you go ahead and mark. Okay, so now what you're going to do for me is to place your tape at that your front pattern, the pattern, and measure what you have at your waistline. Okay, so what I had there was 925, so I'll go ahead and note it. I had 925 there, so I'll go ahead and place my tape at my extension. Okay, and also mark that 9 at that extension that I have at the back pattern. Okay, I'll mark my 925 there. You can see what I did, slanted, making it to touch the pattern, the front pattern. Okay, so I'm going to come in with my ruler and place it in a slant form. Just follow the video and go ahead and slant it down to meet the front waistline of the pattern, like so. Okay, after doing that, you will note that your 925, because you're going to be connecting it to the hip of the pattern. Okay, I went ahead and unpinned the pattern from the fabric. Okay, and noted my hip. Okay, by making a mark there. You can see what I'm doing in the video. So I'm going to go ahead and unpin the pattern from the fabric. Okay, so I will go ahead and raise it up a bit and then connect the 925 that I made on the fabric. Okay, like so, and connect it to the marked hip line. Remember, I made a mark at that hip line, like so. Okay, so I'll go ahead and curve it. What I had there was not looking nice, so I came in with my French curve and made it to be okay. Okay, like so. So can you see? So I'll go ahead and replace my pattern, because I'm going to be using my pattern to cut others. So what I went ahead and did was to add 3 inches all the way down. Okay, so I went ahead and added 3 inches all the way down. What I marked at my crouch extension, I went ahead and marked it all the way down, like so. Then you're going to go ahead and connect it from that place to the hemline. Okay, that was what I did here. So I added 3 inches from the top to the hemline. Okay, everything was just 3 inches. So I'll go ahead and connect it straight to meet the hemline. Okay, so after that, the next thing is to come in with my scissors and go ahead and cut out. Okay, the side of the pants remains the same thing. You're not going to be adding anything there. So I'm going to use my pattern as a guide and go ahead and cut out everything. Okay. Okay. While cutting the crouch for the back pattern, please be very careful. Okay, so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, I took my time to cut out the parts following my curved line. Okay, you cut it all the way to the top, then after that you follow the slant line and cut it through. Okay, like so. So I'll go ahead and lift the pattern up to finish up the side of the pant. Okay, like so. I'll go ahead and cut out that marked line that I have there that I connected to the hip carefully. Okay, after doing that, we have come to the end of cutting out both the front and the back pattern. So the next thing left for us is for us to join these pieces together to have our fine pants. So I've gone ahead to cut out material that I'll be using for the pocket. I have 4 pieces of this here. So you go ahead and take out one pair. Okay, this material measures, the length is 11 inches, as you can see, while the width is 10 inches. So you go ahead and place it on under the front pattern. Okay, merging the both sides together. You take out one pair of this and place it under the front pattern. Okay, it is already under my camera did not capture it. Make sure that the hip side align with your fabric. So I'm going to go ahead and place my tape like I'm showing and make 2 inches mark. Then I'll keep it vertically and make 7 inches mark like I'm doing in the video. Okay, so I came down by 7 inches and I went in by 2 inches. Okay, so what I'm going to do is to place my ruler like I'm doing in the video and slant it to the hip side like so. Can you see? So I'll come in with my scissors, okay, and cut out both on the fabric and on the pocket that is inside it. Okay, I have one pair of the pocket inside it, so I'm going to cut out everything together like so that I'm doing in the video. Okay, so after cutting, I'll go ahead and separate it like I'm doing. Okay, so I'll bring out the pocket. I'm going to show you how to align the pocket if you want to sew it. Okay, so this is one piece of the fabric that I cut. Okay, I'm going to place it right side facing the right side, making sure that the slant line that you cut out merge together, okay, towards the hip line. Can you see? I'll also place the other part. Remember, I cut out one pair. I still have one pair uncut. Okay, so I'll place it. I'm going to be using one side to show you how to face this pocket. Okay, so go ahead and merge right side facing the right side like so and stitch with 1/2 inch. Follow what I'm pointing at and stitch with 1/2 inch. Okay, so here I'm done stitching, as you can see. Okay, so I'll go ahead and I'm done stitching with 1/2 inch. I also went ahead and top stitched it. Okay, so I'll go ahead and flip it like so. Can you see what I'm doing? I'll go ahead and flip, so you can see how nice it is looking. Okay, at this point you can go ahead and come in and make a stylish line, okay, on top of it. Okay, just go ahead and make a stylish line of 0.75 on it like I'm demonstrating on the picture. Okay, so after doing that, you also go ahead and flip it towards the back and get one piece from the other one that you didn't cut like so and align them together. Can you see? Okay, after aligning them, you're going to go ahead and pin like I'm doing in the video. Okay, pin it together to hold it. Now when you are done pinning all around, when you're done pinning, go ahead and follow what I'm demonstrating to stitch on top of it. Please stitch only on the pocket, not the pocket and the fabric. Okay, raise the pocket up and stitch. Then you're going to be stopping where I pointed at just now. Okay, here I'm done and I've gone ahead to flip it. You can see how beautiful my pocket area is looking like. Okay, so you go ahead and also flip so and arrange it properly like I'm showing you. Can you see the stitch that I made? Okay, I only stitch on the pocket, not the pocket and the fabric. Okay, so having done that, the next thing I'm going to do is to just go ahead. Can you see that part of the pocket coming inside? You can just go ahead and hold it with pin, or you can go ahead and stitch directly. Okay, the stitch doesn't matter because that your band will be covering it and holding it. Okay, so I'll go ahead and do that and show you. So you go ahead and repeat the same thing on the second piece of the fabric, of the front fabric. Okay, so now you match them crotch side facing the crotch side, okay, the front pattern facing the front pattern, like I'm doing. Okay, so keeping my tape at 1.5 like we did before, I'll go ahead and mark 8 inches. Okay, that's how long I want my zipper fly to be. Okay, so I'll mark my 8 inches like so. Just mark what you have as your hip measurement. Okay, so now from there I'll go ahead and mark my half inches all the way to the point I'm pointing at, and go ahead and stitch it. Okay, so having done that, I also bring in my back pattern and merge it front side facing the front side. Then from the top I'm going to stitch with 0.75 all the way to the down. Okay, like so. After doing that, I'll bring in these small pieces of fabric that I got from cutting the crotch. Okay, you will definitely have this after cutting your trouser. Now go ahead and fold it. It's always on a fold, and cut it out to be 2 inches wide. I'm just trying to reduce my own like so. Okay, just go ahead and follow the shape and cut out your own. Okay, so what I also did was to carve out this area to be very beautiful. Okay, so use your hand and trace out the curve, make it to be nice. Okay, but the wideness of this flap should be 2 inches, while the length should be 2 inches, should be 10. Since I came down by 8 inches, the length should be 10. It's better you have more than you have less. Okay, so after cutting, okay, after cutting it out, I'll go ahead and work on the length. Okay, so the length, since I came down by 8 inches, I think 8 inches should have been perfect, but I went ahead and added extra 1 inch to it, like I did. Okay, before I said you should add 2 inches to it, but here I decided to use 9 inches. Okay, 8 inches is the perfect length for it. Okay, but I'm using more. It's better you have more than you have less. Okay, so for this one, you also go ahead and cut out a long stripe again. Okay, the length should be 9 inches like you did in the other one. Okay, don't mind me, I used 10 inches because I decided to reduce it at the end of sewing. Okay, so after cutting it, the width of this should measure 2 inches. Okay, so now after getting the two pieces that you are going to be using for the flap, okay, you go ahead and attach your gum to it. Okay, I attached the gum to it, this one. Okay, and I've gone ahead to just close it down and just hold it with a stitch. Okay, so that it will not shape. And to the other one also, I've gone ahead to attach my gum. Okay, and also one side of it, I went ahead and hemmed it. Now to fix it, please pay close attention to see how I'm going to be fixing it to my trouser. Okay, okay, just bring your front pattern and identify the right side and the left side. Okay, just imagine if the trouser is one, which side will have been the right side and which side will be the left side. So I've identified my right side. So to the right side, I'm going to be attaching this part of the flap to it. What you go ahead and do is to merge it right side facing the right side, like I'm doing in the picture, and go ahead and stitch with 1/2 inch. So after stitching and top stitching, okay, what I will go ahead and do now is to bring in the other side. Okay, but before then, let's fix the zip. Okay, bring in my zip, I'll go ahead and open my zip like so, then I'll flip it back. So I'm going to be attaching this side, okay, to it. Then I'll go ahead and stitch. Can you see what I'm doing? I'm going to go ahead and stitch on it. So after stitching, this is how it's looking. Okay, so can you see? So I'll go ahead and flip it towards the back. Okay, and get the other part of the zip, the other remaining part of the side of the zip, and merge it to the left side of the open part, like so. Can you see? This time around, the zip should be in between the main material and the other side of the flap. Can you see? Go ahead and bring in the second flap and place it just the way I'm placing. Okay, the part that you stitch should be facing the end parts. Can you see what I'm demonstrating? Okay, so you go ahead and align it and pin it where necessary. Okay, and go ahead and stitch also using 1/2 inch all the way from the down. Merge it. Okay, you can see how I'm pinning my own. Take your time and pin yours also, making sure that the zipper is in between the fabric and the other side. Can you see? Go ahead, take your time and pin it. Then the next thing you're going to do is to stitch on it after pinning. Okay, so go ahead and stitch it with 1/2 inch after holding it with your pin. Here I'm done stitching mine, and I went ahead and turned it to the right side. Next thing I'm going to go ahead to do is to arrange it properly. Okay, after arranging it properly, I'll head over to my ironing table and give it a good press. Okay, after pressing it, this is what I have it looking like. Can you see everything is relaxed, okay, and looking so beautiful? So the next thing you are going to do is you're going to take your time, either with your chalk or with a pen. You're going to take your time and mark the stylish line that you normally see on top of a flap, but you have to make sure that it's touching the part of the flap that you hem, okay, like so. Can you see? So I'm going to take my time and curve it out like so. After curving it out, I will head over to my sewing machine and stitch following my style line. I'll be stitching it together with the flap that is extending towards it. Can you see? Okay, I'll stitch it together. So I'm done stitching at this point, and this is what I have it looking like. Okay, so I'll go ahead and arrange properly and open to show you. Okay, so after opening, this is how I have it looking on the inside. Now what I have to do is to merge the front part and the back part together. So what I'll go ahead to do is to open my front part like so. I'm going to be merging this crouch side to the crouch of the back. Then after merging it, I'll go ahead and pin it. Okay, I'll go ahead and pin it to hold it. That crouch is very necessary that it doesn't shift even while sewing. Okay, so you go ahead and pin it with your pin, and then join the remaining leg to the leg of the front like so I'm doing in the picture. Going to start from the center and stitch to one end of it. Okay, from the center and stitch to one end, and from the center also to the other end. Please don't make the mistake of stitching from the one end to the other end. Please always start from the center so that the flap will not shift. And please start from the center so it doesn't shift. Okay,
What I'll go
so I'll go
ahead
ahead
to
to my
do
machine and stitch my and show you.
is to turn
After
it,
stitching,
okay,
I'll go
and
ahead
merge
and align
everything.
the
So
front
I'm going
and
to
the
go
back
ahead and
like
take my
this.
time
Okay,
and make
so
sure
remember
that
while
the two
drafting, what
side
I gave was
aligns.
1 inch
Normally the back will be
stitching
definitely
allowance
bigger
at
than
the
the
side
front,
while
okay.
drafting the
So
front.
but please don't
So I'm
make the
going to
mistake
go
of
ahead
cutting
and
out
use
the
that my
excess.
one
No,
inch
what you have
and
to do is
stitch
you have to
the
drag the
side.
front to
Okay,
meet the
I'll go
side
ahead
of
and
the
use
back
my one
and
inch
hold it
and
with your
stitch the
pin.
side.
It is
That's after
perfectly
arranging
okay
like
for you to
I
find
did
out
to
that your
mine.
back is
Now
coming
it's
towards
very
the front.
necessary to
It
note
is
that
normal. It is
the
perfectly
back
okay.
will
So
be
please
a
don't
bit
cut at
bigger
this
than the
point.
front,
So make
but you
sure
don't
that
have
it
to cut
aligns.
anything.
Hold it
All you
with
have
your
to do
pin
is
like
to
I have
merge
done
the
in
two
the
sides,
video, okay.
force it to
So
merge.
now
It
while
must merge,
drafting this
please.
pattern, we
Okay,
gave
once it
one
has
inch
merged,
seam
go ahead and
allowance,
use your
okay.
pin
So you
to
go back and
hold
check. We
it.
gave
It is
1 inch.
very
That's what you're
normal for
going
your
to use
back
to
to be
hold
coming
it on
towards the
each
front. It
side.
is normal.
Okay,
So
please.
go ahead and
You're
use
going to
and stitch
maintain
it
your
using
one
the
inch
1 inch
and hold
allowance
it
we
on
gave
each
while
side.
drafting.
After doing that,
Now
this
after
is what I
stitching,
have
this
my
is what
own
I have
looking.
it
I'm gonna head
looking
to turn
very
it out to
beautiful,
the
very
front side.
cute. Okay,
It's looking
so the
so
next thing
beautiful
is to
and
go
neat,
ahead and
okay.
open
So what I will do now
and
is
measure
to go
for our
ahead and
band.
open my
So to
flap.
measure for our
I'm
band,
going to
I'll
measure
start from
from
one
one
end.
opening of the
After
flap
opening it
to
like
the
this,
other
I'm
opening,
going to start
okay.
from one
Now
end
this is
and
how
measure
my flap
all
should
the
be while
way
measuring.
around it.
Don't place
Okay, so
fold it
don't
towards the back.
fold
No,
it
no,
like
no. This is
that.
how it should
Go
be
ahead
while
and open
fixing
it
and while
as it is
measuring,
now
okay.
and
So I'll go
measure.
ahead
Okay,
and
so you can see
measure it
I'll go ahead and
to see
measure my
what
own.
I'm
Then
getting,
using what
okay.
I have, I'll use
So
it
after
and cut out
measuring,
my
go ahead and
bands
measure
that will
yours,
be
okay.
fixing on
After
it.
measuring,
Measure
I'm
all
going to
round.
use it to
Okay,
cut out
so
a
here I'm
flap.
done
So the length of this
measuring and cutting
measurement
out my
is what
band
I got,
using the
okay,
length I
while the
got.
width
Okay,
should be
so the
4 inch,
width of
okay.
this band
Now the
will
width should
measure
be 4 inch
four
because
inches because
we are going to be
we are going to
folding
be
it
hemming
into
it
two. Then
at
when you
both
fold it
sides with
into two,
half
that's
inches,
three
like you can
inches
see,
into two will
and
give
hem
me
the other
my one
side
and
with
a
half
half.
inches.
But the
So after
extra one,
hemming
I'm
and
one
when you now
inches, I'm going to
fold
be using
it,
it to
okay,
hem
you
on
have your
both
one and
sides,
a
like I
half
did half
inch
inches
that you
inside. So you go
give
ahead and
while
fix
drafting
your
it. Okay,
band,
remember
okay. Take your
our
time and
desire
fix your
was
band.
to
If you're having
give one and a
challenge in
half
fixing
inches
band,
band.
go ahead
Okay,
and watch my
so
skirt
that is it.
tutorial, okay, where I showed how to fix a band. After fixing it, this is what I have my band looking very neat, okay, very neat and well aligned. So that is that for this tutorial. The next thing you're going to do is to go ahead and hem the end using 2 inches. Remember I gave 2 inches. Yes, I'm going to hem it using 2 inches, and after hemming it, you also go ahead and attach your trouser hook to it, and that is it. And this is what we have this beautiful pants looking like. Okay, see you in my next tutorial. Thank you.